Ugh. Fragile deliveries are the bane of my existence.
Oh, no. Not this task again.
The fragile thing?
We'll be fine. We just need to go slow and take it easy.
I am a creature of phenomenal talents, but those are two that escape me.
Well, I'm sure not gonna let Kaine handle it.
Hell yeah.
Indeed, the hussy's foul language would reduce our precious cargo to dust.
Heyo.
Yep, fucking yap. Get moving already.
Oh, Kaine. Oh, Kaine. Kaine just flew into the sun. Oh my god. Goodbye. Yeah, this looks like a tavern, yeah. Ooh.
Hey there. Got a special delivery here with your name on it.
Oh, thank you. This'll make my life a lot easier.
Nice.
We should tell the client we delivered the package.
Also...
Excuse me, do you know Popola? I'm trying to find a drink she likes.
Sure, I know Popola, and I know the drink too. Sadly, I don't have the ingredients on hand.
What?
It's a bit of a special brew.
Of course she needs some crazy special thing. What is it?
Oh, that's too bad.
But if you wanted to fetch me those ingredients, I'd be happy to whip some up for you, on the house.
What do you need?
Great.
I hope it's
What
not
do you
royal
need?
fern, I swear to god.
That's 5 lizard tails and 5 mouse tails.
That's nasty.
No, I mean, what do you need for the drink?
Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but those are the ingredients.
That's nasty.
Well, if you say so.
How many of those do I even have? I picked up like a bunch of those.
Hey there. Any specials on the menu today?
Well, we have a local special, but lately I've had trouble getting the ingredients.
You have no ingredients for any of the things.
It's pretty much all anyone here wants to eat. So if we don't secure a better supply, my business is gonna go under.
What? Okay. I guess I'll take your quest.
Care for some imported fruits and
Oh, I need a
vegetables?
melon too. That's why I went into town. I'll buy one of these while I'm here. Shoot, melons are expensive. Oh shoot, they have royal ferns. I'll just buy 2 of those. Let's see, what else do you need? Tulip bulbs. Do I need 2? 1? I think I needed 2. That's pretty good. Do you have sardines, ma'am?
I'll cook any fish my husband brings home. Beggars can't be choosers.
Oh. What? You don't sell anything. You're just a comment person. You're just a person who comments on things, like me. The frickin' house from Kingdom Hearts. Oh, there's just spiders everywhere. I don't like this. No. No. There's a handful of people I've actually helped, and everyone else can go wait.
I brought the stuff you asked for.
Ah, perfect. I'll make the medicine right now.
Mixing?
Since you've already been such a help,
What?
could you deliver this to my grandmother? She's at the fountain by the library.
Okay,
guess so.
I'll get it to her as soon as I can.
You have something to say to me?
What have we got today?
Don't give me a quest.
Which job should I give you first?
I bought your tulip bulbs.
Thanks. Here's the money.
Money me. What? I can use my field. Do you have another quest?
Oh, I forgot. I was going to ask you to get some fertilizer as well.
Oh, well.
Next time you're in Seafront,
Next time I'm in
can you pick up
Seafront.
3 bounty fertilizers for me?
I mean, I guess so. I'm not going to
Sure
Seafront
thing.
soon.
I delivered the tray in one piece.
First try.
I know that must have been difficult. Hopefully some gold will help ease the pain.
I mean, that's a lot of gold. Who's this guy? Are you a random guy with a quest?
The chickens in this village like to lay their eggs in high places for some reason.
Oh.
Maybe that'll help you find where they're hidden.
Like a high up...
Maybe we should check out the fountain by the library.
What? A high up, shadowy place? Medicine.
Ma'am, I have something for you.
Oh, what a nice young man. Now I can finally walk around without pain.
Ah, yikes.
Don't work yourself too hard, ma'am.
I won't, son.
I won't.
And here, let me give you something for all your help. Don't spend it all in one place now.
Depends how much is it. 2,000 gold. I'll do the mutton thing. What's this? Hidey hole?
Look at that. No wonder they've been so hard to find.
Oh my god. Just chicken eggs everywhere. Look at all these dogs that want to hang out. Was it the one egg? Was that? No. I found one egg? Oh my god, that's all you needed. Okay. I thought he wanted like, I don't know, a bunch. Because he's like, the town needs these eggs, we're gonna die. And then I'm like, here's one. And he's like, perfect. We just needed one. I'm actually just making an omelet.
Sheep hunting. There really is no task too immodest for you.
Hey, it's harder than it sounds. They're really squirrely and they run away fast.
So smite them with magic.
Magic.
Aha!
Where are those sheep?
What is it? Shades?
No, you're right. If I use magic, I don't have to get close.
There are shades there.
Might I make another suggestion?
What?
Do not yell like a madman every time you come to a realization.
No, man. Yell all the time. I yell all the time. Smite them with magic. Yeah, they're so weak to magic. How much meat do you get from one? One meat per... Oh my god. What is that? A dog?
Look.
Would that be the canine we were looking for?
Oh no! Are you okay? Is he dead? Oh shit. Oh, these guys are big! What? Oh.
It's the missing dog. That poor old man's gonna be pretty upset. We should at least give him a proper burial.
Oh!
Hey, wait. I think the dog has something in his mouth.
Kaine doesn't care. Herbs?
It's some kind of leaf.
This is a rather dangerous location for leaf hunting.
Leaf
I wager this
hunting?
decision cost the animal its life.
Oh.
Well, the least we can do is bring it back to the old man. It's too bad about that poor dog. This is gonna be hard for that old-timer to deal with.
Be they dog or man, no living thing can escape their ultimate fate.
That include you, Vice?
How do books work? Yeah.
In truth, I have never considered the question.
You've never thought about your own
I
mortality?
suppose at some point in time I may simply wink out of existence.
Well, that sounds horrible.
Say,
Yeah?
see here, lad. If I ever find myself departing this world,
What kind of talk are we
Quit
having?
being morbid, Vice. Besides, you can't die. You're made of paper.
You're made of paper. Paper can
one can always
frickin'
hope,
degrade.
I suppose.
Hey, I found an egg.
Found
Oh,
an
that's
egg.
great. It was behind the broken wall by the fountain. I guess they like hiding them in shadowy, out-of-the-way places.
Well, that's the first place I'll look next time. Here's your payment.
Oops. Frickin'. I wish you paid me money, you jerk. I just saved the frickin' town.
Some of the gate guards make a habit of coming home late.
What?
They claim to be working, but I think they all slip off to
You
the
just
tavern
giving me
and get
gossip right
hammered.
now?
It's not right, I tell ya.
Why not? They could get hammered, I guess. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, whatever.
Here's your mutton, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. I swear these children of mine just love their mutton. If you ever find any more, I'll be happy to buy it.
1,500 gold, you say?
Excuse me. Have you seen the old man who lives here?
Uh-oh.
You mean Granddad?
Oh, God!
He passed away. His heart finally gave out on him.
Why?
Oh, man. Looks like he went with his best friend after all. Here, hold on a second. His dog had this leaf in his mouth when we found him.
Oh my god.
That's the herb Granddad used for his heart medication. Max must have been fetching it for him.
Oh.
Well, I suppose I owe you a great deal. I can't give you much, but I hope you'll accept this.
$1,000.
Such a faithful animal.
You think Max and Granddad are together in heaven?
Yeah.
I do. I'm sure of it.
That's so sad. What a sad little side quest.
It's not fair. She's so young. Her whole life is ahead of her.
Who? What are you talking about? Do that, and give Yona a melon, and then I'm gonna head off to Magic Dreamtown or whatever. The Forest of Myth. Or the Forest of Mirth. What up, G?
I got your melon, Yona.
Thanks.
If there's anything else you want, just let me know.
Well, since you offered, would you mind getting me a watermelon?
Well,
A watermelon this time? Sure thing.
if I can find one, we'll see. I don't know where melons come from. I guess I could grow one? If I had seeds, I don't even have a watermelon seed. That'd be cool. But, oops. I need to go this way. Oh, is that the boar that everyone hates so much? Hey, you.
Hey, it's a wild boar.
God,
Have
it's
you the
huge.
skill to hunt one of those down?
I don't know. They look pretty strong.
Yeah, what? Oh, God. Where'd it go? Got it! I was tired today, so I stayed home and hid in bed. I could still hear devilish singings from somewhere, though, and that always makes me happy. Enchanted forest! What's that guy just sitting there? What? Well, there's people everywhere! Oh, this is the village! Oh, I see.
It sure is quiet here.
Such silence bodes ill. There's trouble on the way. I'm certain of it.
You know,
Oops.
a little optimism now and then wouldn't hurt, Vice.
Such cheek.
Such cheek! Berries? Literally all the stuff I needed. Magic capsule. What's up, Grandpa?
Beware.
Oh. Oh, you're the right guy who wrote that weird letter.
Beware. The words.
The words? What do you mean?
Contagious words.
What? Like YOLO?
Those who dream.
Those who dream?
Hold a moment. There is a strange
Whoa.
new sensation in my mind.
Vice's voice rose in a quizzical way.
It is not quizzical.
What's going on?
The villager's body shuddered as he slowly opened his eyes.
Perhaps we should start by asking this man.
Who are you?
We heard something happened to this village, so we came to see if we could help.
This is trippy. The mayor stared at LaJona and Vice.
If you can speak to me, I must have caught you in my dream.
Oh my god.
In your dream?
The mayor explained. In the past weeks, a mysterious disease called the Death Dream has spread across the Forest of Myth. Those who caught it were cursed to fall asleep and live forever within the world of their own dreams. The village mayor had determined the Death Dream was spread from person to person by spoken words, but before he could learn more, the disease took him as well. Vice stared up at the mayor, his mouth twitching slightly.
Now see here.
He
Are
said,
you saying that we have been absorbed into your dream?
Well, yes.
said the mayor.
I think you have.
In other words,
Said LaJona.
we caught the Death Dream?
Before the mayor could confirm LaJona's suspicion, Vice exploded with rage.
Ridiculous. Preposterous. Completely unfathomable on every conceivable level. I don't even recall falling asleep.
That's just how the death dream works.
Though polite, the mayor was clearly trying to brush aside the book's remarks.
My remarks are not to be brushed aside, fool.
I like how he can, understand the words. The mayor twisted his mouth into an embarrassed grimace, then quickly changed the subject to who LaJona had seen and what they had discussed since coming to the village.
Something there must have caused you to enter my dream.
Said the mayor.
A certain conversation, a specific word, something.
LaJona and Vice racked their brains, but could find no easy solutions. There were simply too many words to consider, too much random chatter, too many meaningless conversations.
Grimoire Vice does not engage in meaningless conversations.
The mere suggestion that Vice chose his words carelessly seemed to sting his pride.
It does not seem to sting my pride, you bloated gasbag of a narrator. It has demolished it utterly.
Irritated, Vice looked skyward, as if searching for the answers in the heavens.
I was doing no such thing. Just leave me alone already.
The anger created by his harsh words bled over to Legiona like a contagion. Oh my god, what is happening? Wait, said Elle suddenly. Did someone just say contagion? Yes, I believe so. What of it? Well, that villager told us to watch out for contagious words, right? The mayor leaned forward with renewed interest, pushing a startled Vice aside in the process. He must have said something, right? Said the mayor. Some specific combination of words? What was it? I was dreaming, or something that dreams, or... Oh, what the hell was it? A sheep? Cried Vice suddenly, blurting out the first thing that popped into his head. The others stared at him for a moment before slowly shaking their heads. After a few more minutes of thought, Legiona's face suddenly lit up. I remember, he said. Those who dream. That's what he said. I'm sure of it. At this, the mayor produced a thick sheaf of papers from his pocket. He flipped through them a few times before finally nodding his approval at Legiona. That sounds right, he says, as a stray sheet of paper fluttered to the ground. My notes also mention something about that. I bet it was the last thing you heard before you fell asleep. The mayor shook his head, his worn pencil stub tracing the lines across the lone piece of paper. For the last month, I've done nothing but study the disease we call the death dream, he said. I mean, I'm the mayor, right? It's my job to protect the people from whatever comes along, but I never expected a couple of outsiders to start entering people's dreams. The mayor paused, a grimace crossing his face. I should probably be taking notes or something. Vice immediately fired back. I applaud the force of will it takes to research a disease in your dreams, he said, but perhaps we should bend your efforts to escaping this place instead of trying to understand it. The mayor's hand tightened around his pencil, snapping off the tip. I've tried to escape. From the very first moment I realized I was locked inside my own dream, I've been looking for a way out, but I don't think it exists. I mean, this is my dream, right? If there was an exit, I would know about it. He paused for a moment, his unfocused eyes staring at nothing. My village was beautiful, he said to no one in particular, and it was filled with the most wonderful people you could ever hope to meet. But once this disease took hold, things changed. It's like someone took a sponge and soaked all the color out of our lives. I just want us to be whole again. I want us to be free. And I won't stop trying until that happens. Legiona nodded in agreement. Huh? Wait a second, I didn't nod. Look, if we can be of any help, said Legiona, just ask. Now hold on, I did not just say that. Silence, cried Vice. The grimoire looked from Legiona to the mayor and back again, his face filling with confidence. Grimoire Vice's face is always confident, thank you very much. Now see here, Mayor, you told us that nothing can exist in this dream without your knowing of it. But yet you seemed surprised to see us when we first arrived, yes? The mayor slowly raised his head, realization dawning on his face. Oh my god, he said, you're right, I had no idea you were coming. The human imagination is a limitless engine, said Vice, and dreams are the fuel. If you can imagine an exit, then it must be so. With your permission, we shall search it out. Thank you, said the mayor. I don't know how I can repay you. Payment is not required. We are as eager as you are to be done with this place. The mayor suddenly felt as if he could breathe again. He'd almost forgotten what it was like. Good luck, you two, he called at the departing forms of Legiona and Vice. We're all counting on you. As Legiona slowly faded into the misty forest, the mayor was struck by a sense of déjà vu. I saw this man once before, he thought. But where? Legiona's mood darkened as he trudged through the forest. Hours earlier, when the beauty of the place was still a new thing, he'd been confident they could get in, find the exit, and be home in time for dinner. But the deeper they went, the more the forest closed in around him. The mist made it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction. The moss-covered rocks seemed determined to twist his ankle. More than once he'd been forced to steady himself through the rough bark of a tree, and his hands now left small trails of blood on everything he touched. my god. Additionally, Vice was proving to be a spectacularly poor traveling companion. Unhindered by either terrain or physical effort, he spent most of his time urging Legiona to pick up the pace and grumbling about their slow progress. Finally, after Vice muttered something about legless turtles being more adept at navigating the environment, Legiona snapped. Okay, Vice, cram it for a second, would you? You don't have to walk. Legiona leaned against a tree and tried to stretch the knots from his back. How can this stupid forest be so big, he muttered to himself. The moment the words tumbled from his mouth, a cacophony of insects sprang to life. Every imaginable form of buzz, click, and hiss roared out a volume that rattled his teeth. Legiona slapped his hands over his ears and screamed to be heard. Vice, what's going on? Legiona could see Vice's mouth moving. Does it move? But he might as well have been shouting in a tornado. The insects screamed. The forest howled. And then, just as Legiona's ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Hesitantly, he removed the hand from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the woods. The insect cacophony dimmed another decibel, and Legiona began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. It's not just white noise, it's something else. The insects weren't calling out, they were asking a question. One with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? By my pages, is this a riddle? I guess so. I mean, it feels sort of forced, but maybe it's the key to getting out of this place. Then I leave it to you to answer. 1 with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? Crap. Okay, well, a secret. What? A seesaw. I mean, a seesaw. A secret seems wrong. Okay, you have 1 person with a secret. That's lacking. 2, because I would say 1 person with a secret's ideal, and any more than that. Say a seesaw. That doesn't seem right though. Something that's ideal with 2 people, but dangerous with 3. Oh, it's a seesaw. Vice's mouth flew open, but before he could say anything, the world suddenly shifted. When Legiona came to, he was once again surrounded by the sounds of insects. The cries of the insects were creating words he had heard somewhere before. 1 with it is lacking, 2 with it is ideal, 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? By my pages, is this a riddle? I guess so. I mean, it feels sort of forced, but maybe it's the key to getting out of this place. Then I leave it to you to answer. 1 with it is lacking, 2 with it is ideal, 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? A secret? Inwardly furious that Vice left the task to him, Legiona sighed and gave the only answer that made sense. It's a secret, right? The sound of the insects stopped as suddenly as it began. The forest undergrowth parted before Legiona like a rippling wave, opening a new path. The forest anthropods are making a road for us, said Vice with glee. Pleased at passing the test, Legiona moved on with new intensity. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth, but gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on a path, their journey had a purpose. I guess the forest has accepted us, huh? Said Legiona after a bit. Vice spun around to face his companion. Do not mistake the will of the forest for some happy pet you can suddenly befriend. We have no idea where this path leads. As Vice finished speaking, the pair turned the corner and found themselves facing a clear forest spring. Smiling, Legiona picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the surface of the water. Good heavens, said Vice. His surprise was understandable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang out. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, the ripples it left behind came together to form words. I enter through the window, but break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? It's light, right? Absurdly easy, barked Vice. Now answer it. Legiona grit his teeth and tried not to reach out and strangle his companion. He's right after all. This one is pretty easy. I enter through the window but break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Sunlight. A bird. Sunlight. A plume of water suddenly burst from the spring. Sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected off the plume, creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. In all my years, said Vice softly, I have never seen such a sight. Perhaps I have misunderstood the intentions of this place. Hey, look, cried Legiona, awaking Vice from his daze. There's a house or something over there. Glancing in the direction of his friend's extended hand, Vice saw a small cottage nestled among the trees. That's weird, isn't it, Vice? I mean, who would build a house all the way out here? Legiona walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, the door cracked open and a small man peered out. His body was cloaked from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began Legiona, but before he could get any further, the cloaked man held up a hand and began speaking. I have 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, but end the night with 3. What am I? Oh, I know what this is. I've heard this one before. Legiona tried to ask the cloaked man who he was and what he was doing here, but he simply repeated the question. If we wish to engage this man in conversation, said Vice, it seems we must answer his riddle. Yeah, I suppose, said Legiona. Well, at least it's an easy one. I have 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, but end the night with 3. What am I? It's a man, right? Because it's like when you're crawling in the morning when you're a baby, and then in the noon you're like a regular guy walking around, and then your little grandpa with a cane. I think that's how it works. A man. The mist dissolved from the cloaked figure and he spoke a single word. Correct. With that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. You're the mayor, cried Legiona. The small man slowly shook his head. I am not the mayor you know. Now listen to my words. Long ago, I saw a version of you that was not yourself. Sorry? What does that mean? It will make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the death dream. Now you must go to the person at the forest entrance. With that, the man turned on his heel and slammed the door behind him. As Legiona watched, a mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. When Legiona and Vice returned to the forest entrance, they found the mayor leaning against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the duo, he sprung to his feet and scrambled over to them. Good gravy, he cried. You made it. You actually made it back. His left hand grasped Legiona's and pumped it so fiercely it threatened to dislodge from the socket, while his right hand seized Vice by the cover and swung him through the air. Ah, by the heavens, stop shaking me, fool! We have not even told you if we were successful or not. Did you hear that? The mayor smiled broadly and shook his head. I'm just happy you're alive. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Legiona withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. We broke the death dream seal, he said. At least, I think we did. The mayor's face beamed as Legiona filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, the 3 of them lay down on the forest ground and fell asleep. Even Vice? Okay. Legiona cocked his head. Okay, hang on a second. This is crazy. Why would we just lay down to go to sleep? 'Cause your endless prattle... Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool! Fighting against the rules of this place is futility itself. Legiona and the mayor obediently reclined atop the grassy earth. Have you forgotten? Continued Vice. It is words that control the death dream, words that allow us to move from place to place. No matter how unnatural they seem, the words are absolute. And therefore, if the words tell us to sleep, then sleep we shall. And once we do, the story will continue. With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breath slowing. This is the first time, began the mayor, the first time I have felt tired since I was in prison here. His words were cut off by a loud, long yawn, and he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour or a year. When they awoke, things had a slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear that they had awakened from their dream. El shook the mayor's shoulder gently. "Good news," he said. "I think we made it." "Oh, wow," said the mayor in an awed voice. "We did it! I'm back!" He blinked once, then again, as if not quite believing the sight before him. "You two have no idea how much this means. The death dream was spreading through our village, and I wanted to... Well, I thought I could figure out how to stop it, but I guess that wasn't the case. I must have caught the disease and become trapped in my own dream." The mayor started to stand, then collapsed back to the earth. He stared at his legs as if trying to remember how they worked, then glanced at Legiona and shrugged. Without a word, the young man reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. "Real life may take some getting used to," he said the mayor, with a wry smile as he crossed his lips. As a wry smile crossed his lips. "You shall relearn in short order, I am sure," said Vice. "For now, you should return to your home and rest." "No," said the mayor, swaying on unsteady feet. "No, I can't. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the death dream. I have to save them." The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the center of the village, then bowed his head and prayed silently. "This is a holy tree," he explained. When the prayer was finished, "It's the guardian of our village's history and memories." "Superstition will only make our mission harder," muttered Vice. "We shall not put our faith in the gods." The mayor shook his head. "Not the gods, the words. The legend says that our tree is home to a powerful magic known as a sealed verse." Legiona and Vice could not contain their surprise. It seemed the goal had been found in the most unexpected of places. "I say," muttered Vice, "this is certainly a stroke of luck." As the three of them said their goodbyes, Legiona mentioned the strange man who had given them the third riddle and the mysterious words he had left them with. "I once saw a version of you that was not yourself," muttered the mayor. "What in the world does that mean?" Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. "You know," he said softly, "this is going to sound odd, but I have a feeling I've seen you before too." Legiona tried to keep a straight face and failed, but the mayor didn't seem to notice. "Deja vu, right? Anyway, I figure it's just some kind of illusion created by the death dream. It probably doesn't mean anything." Legiona gave the mayor a nod and a smile, but inwardly his thoughts were racing. There's something wrong about the mayor and his words. And what exactly is going on here? The riddle would prove to be the most difficult one of all.
Oh, thank you so much. Now I can finally return to a normal life.
This is one of the most bizarre diseases I have ever encountered.
I know. That's why we have to help the other villagers, no matter what.
No matter what.
For a sealed verse, that didn't take much effort.
Yes, all a touch too easy if you ask me. It's almost as if someone was guiding us to this village.
Right?
Don't overthink it, Vice.
Overthink it. What? What? That's crazy. Hold on. What? Also, it's so crazy that these games just like turn into text-based adventures sometimes. Like, wow. Is this person all like, are these all gonna be like little text-based adventures? Villager.
This person must be dreaming too.
It would appear that way, yes.
Enter the dream? I guess
Can't
so.
say I'm very excited to go back there. That dream world sort of creeps me out.
Fair enough.
Perhaps you should spend less time complaining and more time getting on with the mission.
Yeah. You know who else said yeah? 9S. I breathe air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? My box, my prison, is tucked beneath a stairway in the long, unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside I hear the sounds of a funeral dirge that plays without end. Light has no place here. Wind is a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes, and eternity slips by in a single tick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. "Anyone there?" I hear an unfamiliar voice say. My savior. I claw at the door of my jail, embedding thick splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help. I laugh. I sob. Surely this is a product of my addled mind. Surely it cannot be true. "Help me," I cry. "For love of all the gods, help me." Impossibly, I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. As the door slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired boy and a floating book before the light pours inside. My eyes, accustomed to the blackness, explode with pain and I am forced to turn away. "Who are you?" I ask, shaking hands, covering my face. "How have you come to this place?" "I am Grimoire Weiss, and this is Legiona. Long have we been searching for you. Now come, stand. We shall awaken from this nightmare together." The one known as Legiona extends his hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are as keen as ever. They recognize the staccato sounds of heavy rain. "I never thought I'd hear that again," I whisper. "Would that this were not such a terrible storm," said Grimoire Weiss. "Look at your feet." I force my eyes open and see water pooling around my ankles and lapping at my shins. There's so much of it. "Yes, and more comes each moment we delay. If we do not make good our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place." Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers, no matter the cost. The castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like the endless entrails of a giant. I squint down at the dim corridors and proceed north. Oh, I have to choose it. At the end of the corridor, I find a row of 20 gorgeous canopied beds resting atop a carpet of velvet. They are all covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching for the door to the next room, I come upon the shapeless mass of gray matter that has been shoved against the side of the wall, and despite my fever, I think I still see the outlines of a door just beyond. And when I reach out a finger and touch the piece of the mass, it turns into dust and drifts away on the wind. Realization slowly dawns as I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses. I face a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until the horror dawns full upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know. Insanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make sound. Whether scream or laughter, I cannot be certain. Then my mind grants me merciful blackness, and I find myself opening the door and leaving the most terrible of rooms. I squint down to the dim corridors. Aw, shit. And proceed east. I squint down at the dim corridors and proceed north. I squint down at the dim corridors and I go east again. At the end of the path, I find myself in a great hall with only the sounds of rain for comfort. The waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table upon which rest china and silver of the finest construction, as well as the remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding a dinner guest. Noticing the movement, I approach the chair at the table's head, but as the truth of the matter dawns on me, I recoil in horror. The host of the feast is a corpse, as are all the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects have made homes in their remains, and this is the movement I saw. This once splendid feast was now nothing more than a requiem for the damned. I take a moment to steady my shaking hands, then slowly back away from the table. Desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me, my gaze lands on the chairs upon which the dead were seated. This is a mistake, for the chairs prove to be even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered in a layer of spikes that run from the seat, up the back, down the arms. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray that the unfortunate diners were dead when the meal began. If not, it is a simple task to envision the agonized screams that must have sprung forth from their mouths. My mind grasped frantically at the possibility that these souls had committed some terrible crime for which this was punishment, though in truth, I suspect they had committed no crime at all. There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. I squint down the dim corridors to proceed west. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed south. I squint down the dim corridors and I go west. I squint down the dim corridors and south. And proceed north. The water has risen to my chin and now laps greedily at my mouth and nose. "You dumb bast!" shouts LeJonah. He surely desires to say more, but the rest of his insult is cut short by the rising water. Grimoire Vice, wet and tattered, floats on the water's surface. It is already too late for him. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. Ah! Oh. I just picked them at random. Is there a way I'm supposed to do this? At the end of the path... Oh my god! The waters rise to my waist, exhausting me both physically and spiritually. I pray that this is the way out. Eventually I can stand the sight of the waters no longer, and so turn my eyes upward. Imagine my surprise when I see a series of paintings hanging on the faded plaster wall. Each depicts a person in the prime of their life, clad in nothing but the highest quality. Clad in clothing of the highest quality. The styles, however, are strange to me, leading me to believe that these people had lived long, long ago. One subject wears an outfit that particularly catches my eye. It is constructed of a thin, breezy cloth and decorated with a motif of flowers and birds, while encircling a figure's waist is a leather belt of the most perfect construction. It is a stunning costume, even by modern standards. As I gaze at the portrait, I am struck by a desire to touch it with my own hands. And yet, as I extend a single finger to the painting, I am gripped by a most unpleasant feeling. Staring closely at the image, I see it bend and warp into the shape of another finger. Something behind the picture is pointing at me. Is it another prisoner? A fellow inmate trapped for eternity in this place? I cannot let it pass, and so I seize the portrait with both hands and throw it into the water. The wall is hollow behind the painting, and inside I can just make out a body. Whether or not this is the prisoner, there would be no rescue. The poor soul is long dead. Scraps of clothing lie on the floor around the bones. Only a small amount of fabric has survived, but it features the same delicate designs that were depicted in the portrait. I have been admiring a row of corpses, blocked from view by portraits of each victim at their pinnacle. Enough! Shielding my eyes, I paddle forward through the water. I squint down in the dim corridors and proceed south. I squint down at the dim corridors and proceed south. I squint down at the dim corridors and I go west. And I go south. And I go north. West. End of the path. A row of heavy wooden casks lie on their sides in the dark chamber. Doubtless they are filled with wine. My thirst roars to life. I cannot remember the last time my parched throat had relief. I scramble to the first cask and pull frantically at the cork. The theft of a few cups means nothing, I tell myself. The casks will be ruined by the flood regardless. Finally, the cork surrenders to my attack. A thick red liquid bursts forth from the hole. This is no wine. It is blood still warm from the body, whether animal or something else I cannot say. The foul liquid soon mixes with the rising flood waters, creating a warmth that laps against my thighs. By all the gods, are the rest of the casks filled with blood as well? I lack the courage to confirm my suspicion. Disgust quickly becomes fear as I turn to flee, but my weakened legs betray me, sending me toppling over into the red ocean below. The smell of death is everywhere. It threatens to consume me. I must escape this hell. Crawling on all fours like an animal, holding back screams lest any foulness enter my mouth, I lurch forward through the red waters and out of the room to freedom. I squint down at the dim corridors and proceed east. Okay, cool. So southwest, that takes me to blood wine. Blood wine. Which, east. Okay. Ah, the water's risen to my chin! Okay. What if I said north? North! Oh my god. Against all hope, we make it to the front door. Break it down, someone cries, and so I give myself to the effort. In tandem with Lejona and Grimoire Vice, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door. On the third try, it gives way, and we find ourselves sprawled on the ground outside the castle. The storm is in retreat. The clouds above are still dark and foreboding, but to the west I can see a shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. How can I thank you? I cry as tears join the rain on my cheeks. I would surely have died in there. Looking down, I suddenly notice that my dress is in tatters, and sheepishly I try to cover my exposed skin. Your dress, says Vice. Then you are a woman, madam? I am. I proffer the two a smile. I suppose that comes as something of a surprise, seeing as how I exist only in the form of words. I can see that the one known as Lejona is disappointed that the torn dress will be given no further description, but he hides it well. What? He wants more description on where it's torn? With a nod and a shrug, the three of us set forth to our awakening. But behind us, an awakening of another kind is taking place. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing the countless damned souls inside with their final shroud. After a moment, the castle's windows shatter with a mighty roar. A fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. As we watch in awe, unaccountable black shadows slowly flicker to life, crossing to and fro in front of the broken windows. The castle's dead have awakened to their new life as shades. Well, we did it! Frick!
You have anything to say about that?
Hopefully there will be no labyrinth next time.
I hear that.
Hot damn. That was so challenging. Like, it was fun. It was like such a choose your own adventure, but like, God. Just random. So random. So I guess in the end, because I have no idea how editing-wise this is gonna work, what you did is you go through the main intro, and then the first thing you see the corpse feast, like where all the dead bodies are eating dinner, and then you just go north from that, and then you're out. Like, you just hit the front door. So, who would have known? Maybe you guys knew the whole time. Do I even want to go? Let's do it.
And another victim. This work certainly is trying.
Let's enter this dream.
I figured a book like you would be into all this word stuff, Vice.
Aren't you into word stuff, you
Even
book?
I have my exceptions. Now let's be off.
A colony of massive sculptures was visible in the distance, their tall forms scraping against the sky. Vice and Lejona had never seen such a sight, and their eyes widened as they tried to take it in.
Those buildings must be huge if we can see them from this far away. What do you think, Vice?
As Vice considered his answer, the sun beat down on them with renewed ferocity.
Perhaps they are some manner of mirage,
he said. Under this heat, a mirage or two would hardly be an unexpected sight. Lejona nodded and wiped the sweat off his brow, leaving a trail of sand in its place. He thought he'd never been so thirsty. The ancient road on which they had walked was black and cracked with age. Here and there, thin wisps of grass pushed up through the rocky surface, as if defying those who had laid this material down over their home. The heat reflecting from the road made Lejona lightheaded. His feet hurting, he crouched down to rest. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Is someone playing a joke on us or what? The complaining had already begun. Vice tried not to let his eyes roll too much. A joke, he said? No, no joke. This road leads to the city of art. Perhaps it's the path itself is simply some manner of grand artistic work. You don't sound very sure of yourself there. Perhaps not, but thinking of it in this way might make it easier for you to bear. Lejona glanced at Vice's grinning face, shook his head, and resumed walking. As time passed, Lejona's feet grew more painful and his throat drier than he thought possible. He tried not to look farther than the next step ahead because the bright sunlight made him hesitant to trust his own senses. We are definitely getting closer, said Vice, in an effort to cheer his companion. Yes, this much is certain. Encouraged, Lejona lifted his gaze. Suddenly, he stopped walking, choosing instead to stand in the middle of the road with his mouth and eyes wide open and his finger pointing in the distance. Water, he cried. It's water! Water, said Vice. Preposterous. I don't see any water. Over there, just ahead of us. Look, the sun is reflecting off of it. Without waiting for a response, Legiona sprang to life and bounded towards the site. What in the... There was no water. There was nothing but sand in every direction. Legiona closed his eyes and sighed as Vice floated up behind him and chuckled softly. I believe this is known as a mirage, she said. Many a desert traveler has spoken of such things. Legiona shook his head, bewildered. Suddenly, he pointed off in the distance, his eyes wide once more. Wait, there it is! I just missed it! Look, it's right there! As I drink some water, because talking about people being thirsty makes me thirsty. Legiona sprinted off again, leaving Vice with no choice but to follow. After a few minutes of running, Legiona came to a halt. I could have sworn it was right around here. Confused, he put his hands up to his eyes and rubbed them vigorously. As soon as he stopped, he noticed a blue, shimmering pool of clear water just over the next rise. With a shout, he bounded off in search for it. The chase continued for nearly an hour until an exasperated Vice finally floated up to Legiona and struck him in the face with his cover. Enough, you blithering idiot! Stop this at once! There is no water here. Legiona's face clouded. There isn't? There is not, and perhaps next time you will listen to me when I tell you as much. Vice paused for a moment, then continued speaking in a slightly kinder tone. However, I suppose this mad chase was not altogether wasted. It seems we have arrived in the city of art. Legiona looked up. Stretched out before him was a row of impossibly tall sculptures. Their journey was at an end. They're huge, cried Legiona, completely forgetting the heat and pain of the past few hours. I've never seen anything so big. Each sculpture was formed from roughly the same shape, a tall rectangle that stretched up toward the sky, but that was where the similarities ended. Most were covered with panes of glass that reflected light in 1,000 directions, while others seemed to be nothing but frames of steel. Some had tall spires on their tops, while others possessed triangular caps. What kind of city is this? Said Legiona. Where are the people? Where are the houses? Perhaps the land is intended exclusively for artistic use. The debate continued as they made their way through the city. Miracles of artistry were everywhere. Great iron crates with wheels sat silent on steel rails. Beautifully carved works with lights of red, amber, and green dangled over every street. Wait, is this just a regular city? This is just like a regular city. This is like a muni station? That's pretty funny. There's like a stop sign. Anyway. As they moved away from the massive sculptures, they found a great array of smaller ones. Some were covered in glass or brick, but many were composed of materials they had never before encountered. The sheer variety of colors and styles was staggering. Unable to find a theme or purpose to the abstract works around them, Legiona and Vice eventually fell silent. On the outskirts of the city, they discovered 3 sculptures in the shape of humans. Legiona uttered a sigh of relief as he approached them. Finally, I was getting tired of the modern art. The 3 statues were indistinguishable except for the single word chiseled in their right arms. One read Alpha, one read Beta, and the final one read Gamma. As Legiona moved to touch the nearest statue, a bird flew from the top of one of the sculptures. Alighting on the statue's shoulder, alighting, it emitted a brief, beautiful song that took the form of words. Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. The false ones will only speak lies. One of these. With that, the bird departed. As if on cue, the 3 statues shuddered to life, acquiring color and form as they began to breathe. Hey, look at that, said Legiona. They're alive. The triplets bowed low before Legiona. Please, said Alpha, you have to get me out of this nightmare. I am real. Stop lying, said Beta. He turned to Legiona and threw his hands in the air. Alpha's a fake, you know. I'm the real one. What a load of crap, said Gamma. Beta is fake. Everyone knows I'm the only real one around here. Their respective pleas given, all 3 statues returned to their frozen state as silence once again enveloped the city. When you consider all of the statements, only one of them could be the real thing, said Vice. Legiona furrowed his eyebrows and considered his answer. Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. The false one will only speak lies. What? How would I know? Just guess? Shoot, okay. What if it's Alpha? The real one is Alpha. The eyes of the statue shone with an eerie light. The light grew stronger and stronger until LeJonah and Vice were forced to turn away.
It would seem we failed.
Yeah.
We'd best act more carefully next time.
This is the worst job ever.
You telling me? Okay.
And another victim.
Yeah.
I figured
so it's not
Even
Alpha.
I have my...
Let me write that down. Not Alpha. I'll just write an alpha and a big circle and a cross. So, let's just say it's Beta? The real one is Beta. Though LeJonah's voice betrayed a notable lack of confidence, he was relieved to see Vice nodding at him. If Alpha were telling the truth, began Vice, in dry tones of a lecturer, Beta and Gamma would be fakes. But in that case, Gamma's claim that Beta is fake would be the truth, even though Gamma is a liar. Therefore, the theory crumbles. What? Oh, I'm so bad at this stuff. Okay. Now, let us presume that Gamma spoke the truth. That makes Alpha and Beta liars. But in this situation, however, Beta is calling Alpha a liar, which means that would leave us with two statues telling the truth. Finally, let us assume that Beta is telling the truth. If so, Alpha and Gamma's lies would make sense. Therefore, Beta must be real. I'm so bad at riddles, damn. As Vice finished his explanation, Alpha and Gamma crumbled soundlessly into dust, while Beta sprang to life once more. Congratulations, villager, said Vice in a cheerful voice. It is time, the time to awaken has arrived. Thank you for saving me, cried the villager. He dropped to his knees and bowed his head as low as he could go before an uncomfortable LeJonah pulled him to his feet. Why did you have a dream like this? Asked Vice. Have you been to this city before? The villager slowly looked around at the bizarre objects and sculptures that dotted the landscape and then shook his head. I don't think so. I mean, that's impossible, right? There's no way I could have ever been to a place like this, but at the same time, I feel like I've seen it before. Deja vu, muttered LeJonah, just like the mayor. The vague sense of unease that struck LeJonah during the mayor's dream spread once more through his mind.
That was rough.
I am positive I have seen that place before.
This is like the opening of the game.
Okay, that's enough. Don't need you getting all weird on me too. Okay, there. Now all the villagers can wake up, right?
Yes, if the mayor's assumption was correct. I think I have had enough wordplay to last a lifetime. Thank you very much.
LOL.
You're telling me. Anyway, let's go see the mayor.
I thought I was a goner there. Thanks for the help.
You're welcome.
What a strange dream. It almost felt familiar somehow.
That's crazy. This is such a cool and crazy zone.
Thank you so much for saving me. I never want to have a dream like that again.
Yeah, you had a crazy, scary dream. Fucking drinking blood and shit. That's crazy. I'm gonna save though.